Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Posda, and I have my co-host, Caroline Pino. This is the Humans of Tech short form series on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and now on Spotify. We launched this week. Very excited to announce. So just want to remind everyone of the rules. This is a one-time shot. We don't re-record. We don't edit. We pick one question randomly out of a fishbowl that our guest has no pre-prep call or anything. And we only answer authentically. And so I am really excited to announce our guest today. John Santee is the VP of IT at Chipmunk.
Good day. Yeah, really appreciate you guys having me on today. Yeah, I've spent my entire career in IT, so that's kind of been what I know and what I do whenever I'm not being a husband and father of 4 kids.
Awesome. All right, Caroline, episode 13 or 14. Let's kick it off and do the random question.
I will say I did get a chance to peruse the questions. I'm happy with any one of them that come out. Sometimes we get a little bit nervous because we think, oh, is this going to be the right question for this particular person? Not today. I have a feeling that
I'm not trying to influence what we should talk about, but
I mean, you can. So for those that can't see him, he is wearing a shirt with Mickey Mouse on it, along with the mug. Show me that mug. What does the mug say?
The Mickey Mouse coffee mug.
I love it. You guys need to check him out on LinkedIn. Yeah. Ooh, I like this one. All right. So the question that's pulled is, what advice would you give to someone starting their career in technology? I'm not sure how I would answer that one.
Be curious.
Okay.
And let me explain what I mean by that. There's the obvious initial answer of be curious about technology and technological advancement. You know, if you're going to get into this world, we know that not only is technology changing rapidly, that rapid change is accelerating. So if you're not constantly curious, if you're not constantly wanting to learn and engage with new thoughts and new ideas, you're not going to have a very good time in this role.
Mm-hmm.
I also would tell people, be curious about people. A lot of folks don't understand that IT at its core is customer service. Whether you're supporting an end user, whether you're building a product for somebody, whether you're promoting a service for somebody, you are in customer service. And that piece gets left out of IT a lot. You see kind of this stereotype of the IT person being in a basement with pizza boxes and soda cans around them everywhere. That's not a reality of what technology is anymore. Even the people who are the engineers and the hardcore developers, they have to be out there and willing to interact with other human beings. So if you're going to get into this role and you want to be successful, you have to enjoy technology, you have to enjoy people, and you have to enjoy learning about both consistently. If you're not willing to do that, there's going to be a lot of struggle in this world.
Can I ask you the same question in a little bit of a different way?
Of course.
So I feel like this answer is very much geared towards the technologist, right? The hands behind the keyboard. I didn't even know what a router really was when I got into technology. It was my first training, literally. I hope he's watching, but he pulled out a router. He goes, "Do you know what this does?" I was like, "I'm not sure about that." Well, how would you say the same thing, but for a woman? I'm doing a plug-in for hopefully maybe women who are listening to this that are just finishing school, just finishing college, thinking about where they're going to go into. Maybe she studied business, maybe she studied marketing. What would you tell her about getting into the technology field so that we can kind of promote that side of things?
I would add one other piece to this, and it would be resilient. We have historically seen, and this is not a groundbreaking statement to say, technology has been very heavily dominated by men and male personalities. There's still a lot of stigma and stereotypes around the world as it comes to men in technology versus women in technology. Be resilient. And probably the number one thing, and this is for anybody, but I would say especially for females getting into it, is find a really good mentor. A mentor who has been there, who has walked the path, who is not going to be somebody who gives you the answers, but can help you find the way to your answers, will make not only the curiosity piece fit, but it'll also really help with that resiliency piece, because you're not going to feel like you're trying to walk the path alone.
When did you find your mentor? Like what stage in your career did you seek out that mentor? I'm sure you have multiple, but kind of what did that look like for you?
It might have mostly come by chance. I've been fortunate enough over the years to have really strong leadership in the companies that I've been in. My first mentor didn't even know he was a mentor. He was the managing partner for a firm that I worked at. And I learned more by watching how he interacted with people, how he led meetings, how he led the other partners in the firm, than I probably learned from any book, any class, or any other person, especially early in my career. Then over the years, I've had really good leaders in my companies that I have worked with, and I've kind of attached onto them. So that started early in my career, within the first couple of years. And now it's to this point where, I still have leadership in companies that I look to. Plus, I go out and I now actively find mentors who can help me in areas that I know I'm not as strong in as I should be.
Yeah, I love that. I also, I found, you reach out to people and you're like, can we just meet for coffee? Does that turn into mentorship? It can. Sometimes it may not be the best fit, but what I learned too is like, you can put a timeline on it. Like, hey, I'm really looking to solve or like just develop this skill over the next 6 months. Like, do you mind just being alongside me and like being that shoulder to, or like that ear to ask questions to? So I think that's also like putting a timeline sometimes does help people that are just like, I want experience in one thing, but I want to look up to someone. So
Well, what's been interesting for me now is, while I still don't consider myself old, I definitely have a few years of experience in the industry. I now have people coming to me and asking those sorts of questions. So adapting to who's now giving out answers and figuring out, okay, how do I help this person in a way that doesn't screw up their entire career? It's like, it's a daunting task, but it's also a lot of fun.
yeah, no, I
I've
love
started to have that as well, where people say, what should I do? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Let me figure this out for you.
I'm making it up as I go, but here's what I'm doing. Come on.
Here's what I think you should do, even though I have no idea what I'm doing sometimes.
The best
I,
thing I found for that is, here's all the mistakes I've made. And I'm going to tell you all of these, so maybe you don't make them. You can learn from mine and then go out and make your own new ones rather than having to rehash the mistakes that I've made.
that is
Yeah.
gold.
So kind of wrapping this up, the biggest takeaways I'm taking from what you said is stay curious. Think about the human side of the technology component, right? Technology now really has to be side by side to executive leadership. They are part of the business. They're no longer just the cost center. So you need to be able to speak that language, walk that walk, talk that talk. And then seek out, this is the way I took it. Where you work, look for really great leaders so that you can inherently find those great mentors.
That's a great
And
takeaway.
stay resilient, fight for
Yes.
yeah, fight for everything.
I don't want to be resilient anymore.
And for everyone listening, please go and follow John on LinkedIn. That's how this came to be. He puts a lot of really insightful posts out. Even for our sellers, he will give advice on how to reach someone from a relationship selling approach on LinkedIn, and what not to do and what to do. So, John, it was such a pleasure getting to chat with you. And yeah.
Likewise, really appreciate the time.